didn't do that, then you'd fall on the ground in a coma because your blood sugar would be too high or it'd be too low, or one of those two. You'd either be in a coma or have a seizure. All right? And we know that's not good. So our body is always going to do everything it can to help us survive into the next moment. So I want to get back to this idea of our body's chemistry and the way that we adapt to different situations, because we are designed to, our physical chemistry is designed to function in an alkaline state. Okay, so has anyone heard of pH balance and acid versus alkaline and what all that stuff means? I thought alkaline was the stuff in batteries, right? Okay, acid and alkaline are like one side of a coin. All right, they measure something called pH, which is a negative logarithm of a hydrogen ion concentration. It's a geeky chemistry thing. You can call it your potential for health. pH is your potential for health. So if your body is functioning in a pH range that's alkaline, the way it was designed to be, so that all of the cells of your body, because we determined that our health is only as good as the health of our cells, right? If our cells are bathed and happy in this alkaline environment, they have all of the ingredients and raw materials to do what they're designed to do. All right? But if they don't have that alkaline environment, and they exist over here in this acidic residue, this sludginess, I like to equate it to a neighborhood with cars up on blocks and trash blown around and graffiti on the walls. Like, if that's our body, then how do you think we're going to tolerate exercise? What? Not well. Not well. There we go. Not well. It's not going to do very well. So these people that were these epitome of fitness, these pillars, these athletes that were so physically fit, what do you think their internal chemistry was like? What do you think was going on in their body? They were acid. They were toxic. I know this with all of my heart into my bones, that if you had done a litmus paper, a pH paper test with those people that cost 11 cents, they would have failed it. They would have failed it, and would have showed us the red flag, would have showed us the alarm going on, or going off, saying, hey, help, stop adding more toxic acid to this environment, because I'm on the brink. I'm on the edge. Okay? So here's what happens when we exercise. We use our muscles and we go into this thing called anaerobic glycolysis. It means that we begin burning sugar for fuel in an environment where we don't use oxygen. So it's either aerobic using oxygen, anaerobic without oxygen. So here's the difference between the two. Aerobic, one sugar molecule equals $32. All right? Anaerobic, one sugar molecule equals $4. $32, $4. I'm going to go for $32. But that's just me. So do you see the difference in the numbers? That if my body is running in an anaerobic state, so this is what we do when we exercise, unless we're trying to keep it down low in an aerobic rate for cardiovascular reasons. We don't do that though. Especially when we do short bursts, if we do weightlifting or resistance training, we're immediately fatiguing ourselves and going into this anaerobic mode. So not only does my body now have to work 8 times harder just to get the same job done, all right, how many of you feel like you're just so worn out? You go through the day and it's like 2 o'clock and you're like, are you serious? All right? How many of you feel that way? It's because your body is working 8 times harder than it needs to. So again, we're bringing it down to the cellular level. We're looking at the chemical or chemistry environment of those cells, and we're saying if they don't have what they need to function right in an oxygen-rich alkaline environment, they are going to do everything they can to survive. All right? And what they're going to do is they're going to burn fuel, 1 sugar equaling $4, or 4 units of energy that we call ATP. All right, so why does that matter? Why does that matter? Well, here's the other thing that happens when we exercise. We produce something called lactic acid. Anyone heard of that? All right? It's an organic acid. It isn't anything horrible. It isn't like if I pour lactic acid, it's going to melt through the floor and down into the basement or anything. Our body's designed and equipped to deal with it. But what happens if we exercise very strenuously, repeatedly, over and over, and overburden an environment that's already acidic to begin with? You guys following me? All right, so this is what happened to these people that were so physically fit, that they were eating, especially, I kind of pick on the runners a little bit, but I don't mean to do that. That a lot of times people that are physically fit, they think, I'll eat whatever I want because I'm counting the calories, and then I'll burn it off in my exercise, and it'll all be cool. All right, it'll be fine. I don't have to worry about it. I'm going to burn it off. But the things they put in their body leave behind these residues that are very, very toxic and very acidic to the body. So it's a simple concept. We're going to do a class on pH. I'm going to do a pH test with you. So I'm going to pass out the materials. Everyone's going to get to do it. And you're going to see what your numbers are. And you're going to see where you're at. All right? And it won't lie. Your body won't ever lie to you. Okay? You can lie to yourself. You can get yourself all tricked up and worked into a Tasmanian devil fit. But your body will never lie to you, okay? So, it's so important that we are doing things right now at this point of the project to actively add alkalinity and nutrition to our body to help assist and aid the environment in here where our cells work. Now, can we all agree that when we began the project that we all weren't like the perfect picture peak of our health? All right, so we maybe started with a toxic environment to begin with. So now, as we're excited to hi-ho silver, away, to go out and take on the world and to do these things, we're going to add even more toxicity to the environment, and more and more and more. So if you're already toxic and you go out and do a workout, that lactic acid pushes you over the edge, and it takes you a week to recover from that. Whereas somebody else that had a different chemistry in their body and had scores of different enzymes present and the genetic expression of all sorts of different things to help battle the free radical oxidative damage that comes from those things, to protect ourselves, to keep us just trucking along full speed, running over here where I said 1 sugar equals 32 bucks. All right, we're just going great guns. Okay? So let's bring that back to what we're talking about, is how our body adapts to handle long-term stress. Okay, we can make choices right now that are going to help us in the short term. We can do the foods and the exercises and I'm encouraging you all to do that, but I want you to have a bigger picture in mind, all right? Project Fabulous lasts 90 days. Count them. Say it with me. 90 days. All right, but your life isn't over in 90 days. I hope so. Looking at some of you. No, I'm just kidding. Your life isn't over in 90 days, so you have to right now in this moment begin to make some decisions and agreements with yourself that you're not going to just do some gung-ho thing right now, that you're going to create some plans that will affect the rest of your life, that you will incorporate some new habits and changes in your lifestyle so they are permanent, so that you can begin to use Project Fabulous as a launching pad into something fabulous and great, which is all what we want, isn't it? That's right. So we have to begin to think long term, all right? And our body is able to handle the things that we do in a long-term environment. Remember I said, body only wants to survive very short term. So if we can have a vision of long term, we can do the things that help us to, gradually edge into what the goal is way down here. It isn't like, oh dear, we're already 10 days in. I've got 80 days. I better get to it. I better get to work. All right? So I'm not saying that there's no urgency to this. I'm not saying that, hello, excuse me, your life is waiting. All right? Because I am saying that. And I'm here to kind of poke you a little bit. But the big picture here is that you got to understand that it's not over when Project Fabulous is over, okay? Do you dig? Yep. Do you agree? Yes. All right, so this is about your life, and this is about a bigger picture. Hey, she took a picture of me right when I said picture. I said picture, and she took a picture. We're connected. Livy and I are down like that. We're tight. Okay, so I put this cool picture at the bottom here. You see all these jagged lines? Can someone explain that to me? I don't know what that is. Oh, come on. That was a joke. Okay, so as I talk about our body surviving,